Not in a wheelbarrow around the garden today. Something altogether different. And here we see, John, the helicopters coming in.
Yes.
Through the cloud, through the rain, they've made it.
Exactly, they've battled through. So this is the first of 5 formations of helicopters we'll have ahead of the Red Arrows. And what you're seeing is a formation, the first ones were a formation of 3 Juno helicopters, sort of training helicopters from No. 1 Flying Training School. And interestingly, on the second of those helicopters is Squadron Leader Rich Allinson, who was actually one of Prince William's flying instructors when he was going through his helicopter training. So there's a nice royal connection there.
And also interesting that these the helicopters can fly lower, so that's one of the reasons it's safe for them.
They can, and they have slightly different rules when it comes to cloud base and how close to the weather they can get because of their slower speed.
Right, and even though it's very rainy then, it's not too dangerous for them today?
It's within the safety limits. It's right on the edge, which is why unfortunately we couldn't get the other aircraft, but absolutely within limits for the helicopters and for the Red Arrows.
And so they're coming right overhead.
Hear them now.
Right over the palace. Everybody looks up. And
so at the
King
top
himself.
of the screen.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I was the top of the screen there was the Army formation, so a Wildcat and 2 of the AH-64s. So they're coming over now. So we've got formations initially from the Navy, then the Army, then the Royal Marines, and then finally the Royal Air Force.
And the King and the Prince of Wales both looking up there and understanding both as helicopter pilots. That's interesting.
It is.
They know what it takes.
Well, we've got the first monarch who can fly a helicopter. He was in his naval days. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was actually a very good Wessex helicopter
Indeed,
pilot.
yes.
He was top of his class, so he knows what's going through their minds. And of course, the Prince of Wales has flown many helicopters, so there's a lot of expertise up there. If they're flying the wrong way, I'm sure they won't just hear about it from their immediate bosses.
Now you see, everybody else is tilting their heads up, apart from the King and Queen. But of course, they've got something to be mindful of. So it's just eyes up for them.
An occupational hazard of the head that wears the crown is you can't look down, as the Queen used to say. You've got to read your speech looking straight ahead.
So they're making a fair sound. We can see the windows of the palace there even having a little shudder as those helicopters went past. And one of the things that I certainly wondered today is, how would the crowds be? Would it be a huge crowd? And we have a very definite answer, Robert Hardman, in that.
Yeah, we do. I mean, the crowds aren't as big as they possibly could be because of the new sort of the system they have for sealing off the processional area. You haven't got as many people in the immediate area, but here's the big moment.
Yes, here's the big moment. Here's the main event.
Absolutely. So the Red Arrows, because they are a professional display team, they can work to greater weather limits than the other aircraft who have unfortunately been unable to join us. So we do get a chance to see the iconic Red Arrows in their red, white and blue as they come down the Mall, which just looks fantastic.
What a scene.
They're currently in their 59th season. They've got another 60 displays to do this year.
And where are those displays? Are they all over the world, or do they tend to be in the British Isles?
So the majority in the British Isles, but they do go all over the world.
And this is the moment. Well, that was a wonderful moment, an iconic moment, and it would have been a great shame if the weather had put stop to what really is a sort of seal on the day, I think, John, don't you? That sort of visual spectacle of something that we've come to know and be in awe of, and also be very fond of, that spectacle of the red arrows.
Absolutely.
The armed forces giving a round of applause. And in we go. A day that really Robert Hardman couldn't have gone more to plan, apart from the weather, but it is Britain, and it is the spring.
It is a coronation,
It is the coronation.
And as the King said yesterday when asked about the weather, he said it's a blessing. And look at him; he's absolutely delighted by that. That, as I said, this is his first time. It's so important. These firsts as a monarch. Your first Christmas broadcast, your first cenotaph, and now this his first appearance on the balcony. He'll never come back on the balcony wearing all that again. The next time we see him will be probably next month at the birthday parade. The more traditional balcony moment. But I think he can look back on today as the day that this is very much the punctuation marks of our national life is set by these moments.
And King Charles, and standing with him, Queen Camilla, a day that many people believed we would never see.
Yes, absolutely. I think a great moment for her, and now absolutely the Queen. I mean, that's as she's going to be known from now on. And I think, at the start of the reign, there were one or two people who thought perhaps, maybe this is going to be a bit of a sort of caretaker reign, really, because he is, as been said earlier today, he's the oldest monarch to be crowned that we've ever had. He'll be 75 later this year. But I think what he's done today, he's stamped his mark on this. And, it won't be one of the longest reigns, it just can't be, but it's going to definitely have a personality. And we've seen that already with a number of the sort of small things he's done. I mean, things are changing inside that palace. It's very nice to see the balcony back in action, because actually that's been a building site, the other side of those windows for the last year. They've had to put floorboards down today just to get everybody out there. But things are changing. They're changing, incrementally. It's not a sort of big overnight thing, but he definitely has his own ideas for this institution that we celebrate today.